the children of the Pantheon, horror stories. Good evening to the best internet community. Thank you for being here once again to get your dose of paranormal stories, the unexplainable, and everything that will make you question your skepticism. Because, believe me, we all reach that point at some time. So, it's time to turn off the lights. If you're at home, if you're on public transportation, close your eyes for a moment, even if you miss your stop. If you're driving, well, don't do that. And especially, if you want to be safe while driving at night and you hear a voice, a breath in the back seat, don't turn around in the rearview mirror. Just keep driving home. Just drive. And for a moment, let yourself be carried away by the following stories of the night. Hello, everyone. I would like to share this story with you and the community. I am from a municipality in the state of Guanajuato, a fairly quiet place without the hustle and bustle that characterizes larger places in my state. My job is in another municipality, quite far from my home, but I enjoy it and I'm good at it. I work as a forklift operator, and for my age, I've been told that I'm quite good at my job, fast and very precise. In fact, that led to my company proposing to send me to support another plant on the border of the country. I thought it was great, and I was excited about the idea. It was the first time I would be going so far, and especially the first time I would be traveling by plane. I was super happy. I never imagined that this trip would turn into the worst experience of my life. I always considered myself a fairly skeptical person, and paranormal topics usually just made me laugh. I couldn't understand how people still believed in those things in the year 2024. That is, until that cursed day when, unknowingly, my perception of everything around me, of everything that is possible or not, would change drastically. Once I arrived at my workplace, I dedicated myself to it from Monday to Sunday without stopping, as the company provided me with expenses and I wasn't spending any of my own money. Practically all of my salary, along with overtime, remained untouched in my bank account. I was very happy, delighted. And to be honest, the first 3 weeks went by completely normally. I worked all day, and when I arrived at the apartment where I was staying, I just took a shower and went to sleep. Everything was normal until that day when a colleague from the night shift didn't show up. No one wanted to stay to cover for him. Everyone from the morning shift responded with a resounding no. The absent person from the night shift was exclusively responsible for organizing the patio, which functioned as a warehouse for finished products. The only detail was that during the night shift, there was only one forklift operator, as there weren't many maneuvers to be done at that time. Usually, we would leave everything in order before leaving. I didn't understand why no one wanted to stay, especially since in my company, overtime is paid quite well. So I offered to cover for my colleague, and without thinking, the supervisor said yes. He even said he would invite me to dinner, and I was thrilled. When everyone was leaving, another forklift operator approached me. He was a man in his 50s, with over 2 decades of experience in the company. He said, "Hey kid, there's a reason why no one wants to stay for the night shift, and I would recommend that you don't either. The guy who usually works the night shift doesn't care because he's already used to it, and besides, he's a bit crazy. But well, it's up to you. We're leaving because it's getting dark. Take care, and when you finish organizing here, go to the entrance with the guards so they can keep you company. Strange things are going to happen as soon as night falls." I didn't pay much attention to him and started working. As I said, I saw all of it as nonsense. Midnight came, and I had finished my work. I still had 3 hours left to finish my shift, so I parked the forklift in a dark corner so no one would see that I was going to watch videos on my cell phone. 2 hours passed as I watched funny videos that appear on Facebook, when suddenly I felt something hit the cabin of the forklift from behind. I quickly turned around to see what had caused that blow, but there was nothing. Just meters and meters of partially illuminated patio. I didn't know what to think, and I attributed it to a squirrel, as it was very common to see them in that patio. I went back to what I was doing when, out of the corner of my eye, I saw someone running between the stacks of material that were illuminated by one of the patio lights. I thought it was one of the guards playing a prank on me. It was common for them to whistle at me and hide, only to come out laughing from between the material. But of course, that only happened during the day. Even though it didn't make sense, I preferred to think that it was a good joke. Get back to work, I shouted into the darkness, hoping for a response. But there was nothing. With a bit of nervousness, I turned on the forklift and prepared to go to the guard booth, as I was on the other side of the patio, alone, or at least I wanted to think I was alone. I started moving towards the booth, and suddenly, out of the corner of my eye, I saw that figure that had crossed behind me running alongside my forklift between the stacks of material. That was practically impossible, as the space between them was quite narrow. There was no way an adult could fit there. With adrenaline pumping and tears about to burst from my eyes out of fear, I reached the guard booth. They saw the expression of terror on my face, and without asking what had happened, they simply said, "You saw it, right?" I still didn't understand what was happening. I couldn't find the words to respond. I just nodded my head. For a moment, I thought it was all over, that this would be my experience. I wasn't alone anymore. But then one of the guards said, "Look, it's over there, that damn thing." I turned to where he was pointing, and there it was. We all saw it, the three of us. A figure of short stature and slim build, standing in the darkness, barely distinguishable to the naked eye. The guards became nervous, as they said that it had never come so close to them before. They turned on a lamp they had, one of those used by the military to blind people, and aimed it at that figure, but there was nothing there anymore. I tried to calm down, to light a cigarette to calm my nerves, but my hands were shaking so much that it took me several attempts to do it. I started talking to the guards, asking them what it was and why they weren't doing anything. It seemed quite real to me, and I thought there must be some crazy person inside the maneuvering area. They told me that there was nothing they could do, that it wasn't a person, and that according to previous security guards' testimonies, it had been there for a long time, inhabiting that large patio, hiding in the darkness. No one had been able to do anything about it. I still refused to believe in ghost stories, but it was quite obvious that it wasn't from this world. The fear I felt, I swear, I had never felt it in my life. It was 3 and my shift was over. I headed to my car without looking back at that patio, afraid of seeing something remotely similar to what we had seen. I arrived at my apartment and went into my room to do the same thing I did every day after work, take a shower, watch some videos, and fall asleep. I went into the bathroom, which was right there in my room. I always locked the door with a latch because the cleaning staff would sometimes try to enter when I was changing. I couldn't stop thinking about what had happened. Someone knocked on the bathroom door. At first, I shouted, occupied, thinking it was one of the cleaning ladies. But at that moment, I realized the time. It was 3:35 Besides, I had locked the room as always. No one had a reason to be there, especially not to clean at that hour. A chill ran through my body. I gathered the courage to open the bathroom door, hoping I had heard wrong, hoping I was mistaken. But the doorknob started to move, as if someone wanted to open it, and then it stopped. I didn't know if I should stay or run, check if someone had entered, try to defend myself, or even grab my wallet and escape from the apartment. Finally, I decided to leave, but there was no one there. The door to my room was locked, even with a chain. That's when I realized that my mind was playing tricks on me. I had never been so scared in my life. It was 3:35 and my shift was over. I headed to my car without looking back at that patio, afraid of seeing something remotely similar to what we had seen. I arrived at my apartment and went into my room to do the same thing I did every day after work, take a shower, watch some videos, and fall asleep. I went into the bathroom, which was right there in my room. I always locked the door with a latch because the cleaning staff would sometimes try to enter when I was changing.